one, liftoff.
That's one small step for man.
Contact with a test one.
How about that for a beautifully smooth intro this morning? Hey guys, let me know. Okay, so apparently you guys always think, or Ryan at least always thinks my music is too loud. But yeah, hi, how are you guys? I hope everyone's doing well, surviving the upcoming cold, unless you're in the south, and surviving the upcoming heat. The earliest Patreon leaves. Yeah, we normally do them. I'm trying to make sure it's a little bit better for those in Europe, and I think this is a decent time. It seemed to be like a lot of people. I didn't hear too many people being like, well, that doesn't work for me. I heard a lot of people like, that's great for me. So, sometimes we do like afternoon my time, 1 or 2 o'clock my time or something, and that's tends to maybe be a little bit too late for those in Europe sometimes. So, all right, how are you guys? What's new? Why don't I start off with something that I'm excited to show you guys and you guys only. This, please don't talk about this or share it outside of this little circle of trust here, my friends. But I do have something that I'm really, really, really excited about. This is something I've been working on all year. This is something that you guys will have first dibs on, and something that I am beyond excited for. Well, here, let me show you just the nondescript box first, actually. That's okay. This is the future of everyday astronaut. Wow. That's all. Yep, that's all. Okay, so what this is something I've been working on a long time. Here's the next clue. Does that shape look familiar? Maybe it does. Maybe we are going to be mass producing 3D, not 3D printed, die-cast metal, so it's not fragile, and extremely high detail, 1/100th scale model rockets. And this is just the prototype here. This is just the 3D printed version. This is not, or this is the the injection plastic mold version. We made a few changes, but yeah, it's going to be 1/100th scale. And what I'm really excited about is we're going to work on eventually doing like every rocket or like a dozen rockets at 1/100th. So they're all in the same freaking scale, because this kills me. This right here is the saddest thing in my life. Tiny Saturn V, not tiny Saturn V, oddly big New Glenn, huge Falcon 9s, Mega Electron, Mega New Shepard. I hate it. I want them to all be to scale with each other, and I want them to not be fragile. These things terrify me, especially the Buzz space models. They're incredible. The detail is amazing, but I'm so terrified to even touch it. The idea here is that these are going to be die-cast metal, so they won't be fragile. You can actually handle them and not totally, like a car, like a nice, die-cast car that you get that might be a high-end model. I'm trying to do that exact same thing, so it can kind of all come apart for the most part into some more individual pieces. We'll eventually sell a fairing version that also, we might do like a fairing and a transport erector kit or something, like a Falcon 2.0, where it's just those accessories. And then we'll do Falcon Heavy, because that'll be an easy one from here. Space Shuttle. Soyuz is one I really want to do, just to see it in scale with everything else, because that's not something we get to see too often. I'll do Starship eventually, once it kind of solidifies and becomes not so prototype, but that's probably a good 2 years away. But we're going to try this first. We're going to try Falcon 9, make sure it does well, because let me tell you, setting up injection molds for die-cast models is not cheap. We are trying, so yeah, that's the scary thing. So pricing, I'm actually really excited, because I think these will be some of the most detailed models. They'll come with stickers and decals, and it'll be pre-finished, looks really, really, really high end. They'll be, I think, about the most detailed models you can get. Outside, I think Ollie's might be a little more detailed at the end of the day, because those are like hilariously intricate, but these are right up there. These are, I'd say, about pretty darn close to on par. And I think we're trying to keep it for sure below 400, depending on how this first run totally ends up landed, I guess. We should be closer to like mid threes, maybe low 3s. So 6K. No, the molds were 40K. We spent 40 grand on molds. So yeah, molds are not cheap. Yeah. Doing mass production stuff is not cheap. So I'm really betting and I'm hoping that we basically have to sell like, we can break even if we only sell a few hundred, but even think about that, a few hundred of something at, over $300 that's moving quite a lot of product. So yeah. So, yep, we corrected the models. Yep, we corrected the feedback that we got from a couple of you guys. That was awesome feedback. Everything's going to be great. Yeah, shipping, I don't know. We'll see. Yeah. So that's something that I'm really, really, really excited for. Yeah. It's going to be really cool, and we'll see how this first run goes. If the first run goes well, I think Falcon 9 will be a good test subject. I think Starship we could print but there's a ton of people making big Starship models. But the cool thing is, again, I want them all to be in scale. Oh yeah, Saturn V is another really fun one. Saturn V, N1, like those are rockets that I really want to see in scale with each other compared to a Falcon 9 and Falcon Heavy and stuff. Yeah. There we go. So that's something I'm very excited about. So, yeah. So yeah, friendly reminder, if you guys are in Discord, please try to use the YouTube chat. It doesn't matter as much for these ones, I don't think quite as much. But that way, if someone is rewatching this, they can see context and or if they don't happen to be on Discord too, which everyone at this tier has access, but that doesn't mean everyone uses it. There's no copyright issues on the rockets themselves. We will have to get permission to use a trademarked logo, though. So we can call it a Falcon 9. It's an artistic rendering of a Falcon 9. We can call it a SpaceX Falcon 9. But in order to use any of the logos or the actual, that stuff, we will have to get permission for that. So, yeah. Yeah, don't use live chat for sure. All right, what else is new for you guys? What else are you guys looking forward to? Ask me some questions. This is this is for you guys. This especially because I'm going to be pretty focused, probably playing Kerbal pretty intensely when we go into Kerbal here in about an hour or so. So this is for you guys. Just ask some questions. Let's hang out. Yeah, my Tesla got fixed in April. It better be fixed. Yeah, it got fixed in April. Drove it home. That was the first time I got home, was in April. The motorcycle I've been working on, my friend has a 1975 CX650, I think. Yamaha CX. Is that what it is? 650? It's a weird... Not CX. It's a VX something X. No. XS. There it is. XS 650. Yep. It's just a parallel twin. Took it apart the other day, or took the carbs off. Just cleaned them as much as I could without totally tearing the carbs apart because I couldn't get the pilot jet to back out at all. So tore it apart as much as I could. Thought for sure we found the problem. The floats at the bottom of the bowls were like really sticky. They weren't moving at all. So I took the pin out, cleaned it, put it all back together. It was totally free moving. Put the bike back together. Still doesn't run. I'm just like, are you kidding me? And I know it's a carb issue, so I'm really, really bummed. But yeah, it'll be actually that's what I'm going to be doing later this afternoon is trying it again, taking the carbs completely apart. Got a proper impact driver and going to try and remove the carbs and all of it and try to clean all the needles and everything. So very fun Sunday for me. Let's see. Okay, how's my summer been? It's actually been really, really good. I've felt like I've got a lot done in personal stuff, like around the house and around down in Texas. I feel like I've got a lot done. I know it probably doesn't look like I've got a lot done. Maybe that's one of the reasons why it doesn't look like I've got a lot done is because I've been doing a lot of stuff around here. Things that feel really good to get off my plate, and I feel very happy. Yeah. I don't know exactly what we're going to do on Kerbal. I'm going to kind of leave it up to you guys. I got a lot of feedback from people on Patreon. We'll read through some of those and just get some reactions. Maiden flight of the Korean rocket. That's awesome. Let's see here. Shop is going with the new merch. We're waiting on our the button ups. Those are supposed to land in like December, but so the biggest problem right now with the shop, here's what's absolutely crazy. The supply chain is so messed up right now that we can't even get a lot of like some of our shirts, like our the green Aerospike shirt. Literally, you can't get that color. It's like they don't have the ink for it anymore. They're not even running. They're not even making those shirts right now. A lot of the suppliers are like, we have black and we have white, and that's absolutely all you can get. So we've had to like change some of our merch. A lot of it is like stuck. I don't know if you guys know this, but like the port of LA or like port of LA / Long Beach port or whatever it is has ships that are going to be stuck waiting to come to port for 6 to 8 months right now. It's insane. It is like the most ridiculous thing ever, and it's affecting a lot of businesses are dealing with this right now, where like you literally just can't get products in. So in order to get our shirt wear, trying to get it for the holiday season, which I'm kind of doubtful at this point, we're actually having to hire like a private charter thing. It's like insane. It is so. This whole thing has just been the worst year and a half. My poor merch guy, my friend that does the merch that does this for a living, he does it for like bands and stuff, and runs the big warehouse and all the production. He's so stressed out. He's never before the pandemic. He's about my age. He's in his 30s. He's vegan and straight edge, so doesn't eat meat or any animal products, and didn't drink or smoke or anything. That changed after the pandemic. He finally, like, after his whole life of never doing any of those things, like, just was so stressed. I think he started smoking, and now he eats meat. So that should tell you what it's done for the stress levels for the poor guy. He's just like, I can't handle anything anymore. So yeah. Trying to catch up to where you guys are. Car got fixed in Texas. Let's see. Have I tried ultrasonic cleaner? No, I have not. I don't have an ultrasonic cleaner, but that would be awesome. That'd be really cool. Yep, Starlink is set up at Mars. It's really impressive. It's has very little downtime, and actually some of it is the obstruction. The place I mounted it has a little bit of roof line in its vantage point, so I'll move it up onto the roof, and it's really good. It's going to definitely supplement like it if we can properly bond it. I think we'll easily be able to stream 4K without issues. If it's not in the chain when it's down, I'm a little nervous that Spectrum can't quite hold a steady 4K stream. So, yeah. Let's see. Yeah, I would love to do a video with Uncle Rich, but I don't know what we'd do together. I've met him before. He's really cool. But I have a hard time like with doing. I feel like it doesn't make a ton of sense for me often to do like collaborations with people. Like it feels pretty forced. I'm just not that typical like YouTuber where you're doing things that are easy to collaborate on. You know what I mean? Like, it's like my audience doesn't really care for that. And what I've learned about YouTube is half the time, like, I'm actually going to be, unfortunately, I think just for time purposes and getting to the point a lot quicker. The Soviet family tree video has, I think we're like 9 minutes before we actually get to the beginning of the first engine. And I just think that's too long. It feels kind of like the rocket pollution video where I had a ton of lead up. And then like, it was like 6 minutes before I even began to get to the point. I think I'm going to cut Simone from the official video and use it as like a promo because it's a great little promo tease. But the thing is, like, a lot of my audience will have no idea who Simone Yetch is. Like, well, let's say a third of the people don't know who that is. That's going to be a million some people someday that have like no idea why this video is starting off with some random person, right? So, yeah, I don't think I'm going to do that. Yeah, so I just have a hard time with any of those collabs. But, yeah. Huh, nail polish remover. Interesting. Cheap ultrasonic toothbrush. It's not a bad idea. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about that. OLF plus 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 plus. Yeah, I don't know anything about the TED Talks in Colorado. I haven't heard from them since the pandemic, really, for about a year now. I think we're waiting to do like an official one again in person, and I'm sure I'll hear from them plenty then. Yes, exactly, Andy. The number of comments that are like, this video starts at 6:22. So I want to tidy up the intro a little bit just so it gets to the point a little quicker and we don't lose. I fear like I think that's one of the biggest issues with the rocket pollution video. Actually, I should look at the analytics of it. Is that I think we lose people too quickly in the first little bit. Analytics, let me see. Engagement, I think. So let's see, it's pretty high retention rate. That's funny. I still don't know why this video didn't do awesome. The video has not. That was one of the highest, definitely one of the highest effort videos for the least payoff. You know what I mean? Because that video is only at 1.1 million views, and I worked really hard on that video. And I definitely fear the Soviet rocket video could be that. And I think it's a lot more hyped, but I definitely want to get that going. When's the new music dropping? Ooh, good news. I'll show you guys this. It's official. I have the artwork finally for it. That was the other big. I think it's going to come out before. It's going to come out before the vinyl comes out because again, supply chain, like everything is just ridiculous. Let's see here. I'll just bring this over here. I'll share my screen. Okay, here's the artwork. Hold on. Where'd you guys go? You're like 4 tabs over. Okay. Here. This is the artwork for Heliocentric. I'm really, really, really excited about this. Yeah, so it's changed. It's no longer 27 Merlins. I don't want to. I didn't like that name. People, I think, conjure the idea of wizards or birds. I don't want either of those things. I don't want it directly tied to Falcon Heavy, even though it is. So Heliocentric, I think, is like the perfect album title. Yeah, it's been mastered. Yeah. I'm really excited. And notice here's what's funny. Notice the times on it are like lined up. It's not the track times. The times are lined up with the launch sequence. So if you start ascent at T-minus 33 minutes while watching the Falcon Heavy mission, it'll line up like perfectly with everything. So, yeah. Of course I own the Masters. Yeah. Yeah. I own everything. Yeah, it is the stuff from Voyager on the left. Pilots will for sure have access to I can't like segregate the official like what's it called? Like when it drops on like iTunes and stuff, that'll just have to be a public release. But I think, I'll be able to give rights or like access to pilots for the first to be able to get the vinyl first. Because I'm not going to be able to do that many runs, like maybe only 200 or something. I have no idea, but I'm really excited. Yes, we will get the Russian rocket video before the Starship launch. Unfortunately, the thing that sucks about this last week, I spent all of my free time, including like last night until midnight, editing out, blurring parts of things in the video for Firefly. Unfortunately, at first they were still really cool about this, but I think they realized that a lot of their intellectual property was showing up in parts of this video. So I had to do some pretty intricate blurring and pretty intricate rotoscoping. Here, I actually can show you guys a few of these parts that I've spent a lot of time blurring. Let me try to find one of the harder ones. There's one that I was like really proud of. Here, this one's pretty crazy. This is what I was doing last night. Those they were on Discord last night. I was working on this at like midnight or like 11 o'clock or something. But watch the blur here in the back. You'll notice. Hopefully you can see that. There's a little blur right here on. You might not be able to see my mouse too well, but next to this yellow cabinet on the right, there's a blur. Notice that the sign I rotoscoped the sign so the sign doesn't blur. I rotoscoped the other sign so it doesn't blur. And then when Tom walks in front of it, not the other, I didn't worry about the other guy walking in front of it. I didn't really care because it's so far away. But just when Tom walks in front of it, I kept it all blurred, baby. Watch this. He doesn't even get blurry. This was a much bigger deal than I'm just going to hit play because it's I'm just going frame by frame. I guess play is not really going to work either. But yeah, I spent way too much time. There's a handful of these sections in this video. And had to cut out a bunch of stuff. This ended up being a lot more editing than I would have preferred. I would have really liked for it just to be a totally raw video, but you can see I've had to do a lot of blurs on a lot of things, and each one of those takes like 10 minutes, 20 minutes to track the camera or whatever, depending on how long it is. Yeah, not that happy that I had to spend that much time blurring things, but at the end of the day, it's still a really raw video, so. Yeah, it's going to be, this is like a really, really cool interview, actually. Tom is quite literally has his doctorate in aerospace and mechanical engineering or something, so he's literally a propulsion doctor. He knows his stuff, and it's a fascinating interview, so, yeah. Yeah, oh, that was the other thing. I had to redo, like, 4 huge blurs, like blurs that took me 30 to 45 minutes. I had to completely redo them. What was happening is, for some reason, After Effects, when I was tracking the camera, it goes frame by frame, and it would get hung up like at like frame 215 out of like 580 or something, and it would just get totally hung up there. And then After Effects would crash, and so many times when it would do that, it would destroy the dynamic link to Premiere. So it would sometimes destroy like previous builds. And even though I was like saving prolifically, I started saving way more prolifically, like every 10 seconds. It broke like 3 or 4 ones that I had already done. I had to do one of them 3. Luckily it was a short one, but I had to do it 3 times now. So not that happy about it. Yeah. So I'm really excited for that interview to drop. I'm waiting for final approval from them. And it's been a, back and forth. I have to send them every video. It's an hour and 5 minutes long or something. It's a long interview, long walk and talk, and I have to get approval. They have to go through basically every second of it every time just to make sure there's nothing that's going to, it's going to get them in trouble. See ya, Flo. Yeah. So, yep. No, Trevor, I'll talk Starship. I know it's triggering for Trevor who's scarred by it. And I frankly, yeah, I realized a lot of if you can't tell, I'm happy right now. Like I'm actually I'm happy. I'm really excited to be working on things and getting Mars put together better. When Andrew and I were down there like 3 weeks ago I slept for the first time in Texas. I slept happy. Was like, I feel like there's a light at the end of the tunnel, because it was every time we went live at Mars, we were still testing things out. We were still doing things for the first time on air. And that was terrifying. We had to, so much stuff was just temporary. Quick, patch that in. Okay, crap, we got blah, 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 blah. And now we have things that are permanently set up. We still have more work to do. Like I'm still going to go out there for almost another week. We probably have 3 or 4 days of just setting stuff up, of just getting the program running and all this stuff. There's a ton of work to do there still, but there's a light at the end of the tunnel, and it's a beautiful light, and it's going to be amazing. And once that studio is running, it's going to be amazing. I feel really good about that. Like a lot of stress has been relieved on that. Like I said, there's been a lot of work that I'm doing here in Iowa at my house, and that stress is like being relieved finally. So I'm just, I'm really excited that things are freeing up, and Andrew's working on the tree for the Soviet rocket video. So you guys have seen that where I drew out the tree, and I think Andrew for the first time looked at it and realized, we've kind of gone through this, but I'll show you guys again. Realized the weight of this tree. When he's doing this in After Effects, what he's gonna have to do, and we're working on this right now. It's like we're working on a template for each engine. What we're gonna do. We're gonna make it a little easier on ourselves and basically do like the entire family tree like this with low detail, with like I think just maybe a little picture of one of Casper's renders of the engines with the name and no other details for the tree. And then while I talk about things, it'll kind of break down into its family trees, its immediate like branches, I guess. And then those branches, when you look at them, like just the R7 family branch will be high detail, and it'll be what we're going to do is when we focus on just one on screen, it's actually going to be like trading cards. And we might actually try to make these trading cards someday, but it'll be like information on one. And then like it can even like fold over and you see even more information, like just the engine render or something, and then all of its stats. And it's going to be really detailed then when we look at it card by card. And it's, yeah, I think this is going to be really, really, really cool. But the thing is, we have to get all of that nailed down before we even try to lay it out. Because if we lay it out and then make a change to the template or make a change, we realize, oh my God, this one engine has 5 lines here or something, that we need to have, and our template's wrong, and we have to like rearrange it. We'd have to go back and redo all of the work on every single thing before it. So it's like a huge, it's terrifying. It's insane. Like I think that Andrew now is realizing why it took me so long to put this together properly, because I knew if this was wrong and if I mess this up, the entire like After Effects project will be the biggest nightmare ever. So this, like this was like what I was doing for my free time this summer, before I even shot the video, was just making sure all of this was correct. I actually ended up on some phone calls with some people that I can't actually disclose who, but someone very, very close to Ukrainian and Soviet rocket engine history that knows this stuff really well. And we went like basically engine by engine. Yeah, so I'm quite confident this is as accurate as there is on this stuff. And that's, of course, the most important thing to me. And therefore, I feel good that when we go into editing it, that we're not going to be backtracking. That's the goal. The goal is I don't want Andrew to have to redo and backtrack anything. So, yeah, it's I think we did it right. I know it sucks, and trust me, I have a lot of pressure. Like there's a lot of, I don't think it's actual pressure, but every time I get on the internet, every time I tweet anything, the next thing I hear is when Russian rocket video, and it's the same. Like I know it's all in fun, and I know I've hyped it up for a long time, but that actually stresses me out a ton. It's that same pressure as like the When Hop stuff. Once When Hop started, like some of the fun of all of that stuff kind of just got lost on me. And I know it's all in good fun. I know it's all in good nature. I know that the people, just want to see something cool. And I think that's the same attitude here. They want to see something cool. This is awesome. This is like the coolest thing I've ever, I think, done so far. But that like feed me attitude is what's really, that's like burnout fuel. That is 100% burnout fuel. Yeah, I have hyped it up a lot. Why wouldn't I? Absolutely, I've hyped it up a lot. This is like the coolest thing I've ever worked on. I mean, don't forget, I worked on the pollution video for 6 months. That was a big video. That was a big undertaking. There's a lot of research. This video is 10 times that. So, yes, this is Lucid Chart. Yep, it's called Lucid Chart, and it's awesome. That's been a game changer saver. I really liked the pollution video. I wish, again, that I'd got to the point quicker. And I don't love that the intro shot is so dark and we had the ISO cranked and it looks so gainy and gross. But it was a really good video. I think, I'm really proud of that video still, but there's things I would have liked to change. It realistically, in the full grand scheme of things, I paid a research assistant, I think I paid her $1,000. That video in ad revenue after almost a year and a half is only like, I didn't make that much money for how long I worked on it. So I'm hoping that this is not that. Yep. First major video time frame. Sorry, what's that mean? Yeah, aforementioned part 2 and 3. Has anyone reached out to you about investing in SpaceX? No. Yeah, I mean, yeah. I know that that's the case. Is like, you're always going to, in hindsight, you're always going to find stuff that you wish you had done differently, and that's just the nature of the beast, But yeah, it is a valuable video. I think it's like, I love seeing people link to it as like, when people on Twitter go, I can't believe Elon, is all about green stuff, and yet he, launches rockets, and people can link to that and have it be a resource. The rest of my time at Cape, well, unfortunately, I left the very next day, like the day after Inspiration 4. I had to leave already, and it was awesome. I missed the Cape. I forgot how cool the Cape is, actually. I think I kind of got jaded a little bit that the Cape is old news, and Starbase is where it's at. But I forget, like, Cape Canaveral and Cocoa Beach and Kennedy Space Center, all of it's really, really cool still. Like, really, really cool. I think, again, some of that, sorry, I'm just ranting, but some of that, like, there's a lot of just toxicity almost about Starship right now, and Starbase being like the only cool thing out there and the only thing that matters. And, this is all that matters, and anything else is a waste of time almost. And that attitude just to me is like the antithesis of Team Space, and going back to Kennedy Space Center reminded me that space, there's a lot more than just Starship right now, and I just love it. It was so cool. It was so fun to see it all again. Good Launchpad. It's true. Let's see here. You've tied yourself to Starbase because of the article. Yeah. You guys get it. Especially, Trevor and Ryan, you understand. Once you write about Starship and Starbase and you realize that by the time you hit publish, it's wrong, you quickly realize, like, that the whole thing for me is we normally don't see this stuff. We normally just don't see this stuff and have someone talking openly about the plans that are, destined to change. And so people take everything as like de facto. They still treat news and events in a de facto manner. People still, which is normal, you still consume the idea that, like, here's the launch pad, it's going at this rate, therefore at this time it's going to be done. Or here comes a part, that part's going to do this. And they forget, like, plans change, things don't get installed right, things break, things blah, blah, blah. And therefore, like, people get really, like, defensive when you're like, well, they still have a long ways to go. And they're like, no, there's all the parts right there. Like, if this was any other launch pad anywhere else in the world, we would not have this level of detail. You might not see the arms show up at the launch pad, and therefore you wouldn't think that it's imminent. You would think, oh, this launch pad is going to go online in 6 months, yeah. Exactly, Hector. You get it. 100% you get it. It's the whole, like, tank watching that. You can tell I get, like, stressed thinking about it and talking about it because it's like, I don't know. It's just crazy, honestly. But yeah. M. Bundy asking in Discord, I should demonstrate Lagrange points in Kerbal. You can't do that with stock Kerbal. It doesn't have Newtonian physics or whatever, so you can't actually do that. Let's see. Lisa had asked, is there anything else in the pipeline you can talk about here with us? I do have one little thing. I can't say much about it yet, and it's still a huge maybe. But I might, big asterisks, might be going to Russia this year. Well, maybe this year, maybe early next year, but, like, have some stuff figured out for it. So there still has to be some things that need to be finalized for that to happen, including visas, but I am working on that. I don't have any plans to, like, go and be able to film Baran for it, but I am working on stuff like that. So yeah. So that's some news. So that's another big like fire. I need to have the Soviet video out before then. I think that'll help put me on good terms with Roscosmos and with Russia. I don't want to be on bad terms since people can like get arrested for talking about spaceflight stuff. But I think that will hopefully put them in good light and not piss off the Kremlin and not get me stuck in a Russian jail. Yeah. So yeah. So okay, so let me tell you guys the future of videos. We talk about this all the time. I feel like every stream is kind of like what's next, but what's next has stayed the same now since the last stream. You know, we're working on the Soviet video. As soon as this Firefly tour is up, which I should be getting the final go ahead from them either today. I know it's the weekend, but they've been working on the weekend with me. I was even texting the communications manager last night at like 11 with Firefly. So that was they're also burning the midnight oil with me. So once that's up, hopefully I think I can get it out to patrons hopefully Monday-ish, and then release it publicly on Tuesday. It's awesome. It really is awesome. I promise. It's actually fascinating. Like I think it's as good of a tour almost as Starbase. It's just very different and but still really, really cool. I love it. I just hope I'm afraid that the aerospace community, I'll be surprised if this even has like 200,000 views, you know, in like a week or 3 or something. Yeah, I just don't think it's going to be a huge video because Firefly is just not that popular of a company yet. No one really knows who Tom McCusick is. So we'll see. We'll see how it does. And so that's as soon as that's done, I'm back into Soviet rocket engine B-roll, which is fun. I've found a lot of good B-roll actually lately, and I can't wait. I've started plugging in a little bit of it, and that's the hard part too. Besides our family tree, that's going to take up a good like 30% of this video. Like I think screen time will be probably 30% family tree. And then like, you know, I only want my face on camera when it's like absolutely necessary. So I want it to only be like 5 or 10% of the video, my face only as like a filler. But the hard part is there's not a lot of footage or photos, especially the early things like the R1, the R5, like literally like almost nothing. It's going to be very hard. Some of these weird engines, RD-109, you know, these ones that there's no videos, no photos. It's going to be very difficult. So I don't know what we're going to do. Yep. Yeah, how has the approval process been versus SpaceX? So, yeah, Trevor's exactly right. SpaceX is like, yeah, Casper, sorry. So Casper's modeled all these engines, and some of them you just kind of had to shoot blindly at it and hope that it's close enough. Okay, so yeah, SpaceX, I think the attitude there is like, they don't even really, like, they don't care. Like, they're so far ahead of the curve that I genuinely don't think they care that much. Like, they don't care about their proprietary information. They don't care about their proprietary things as much. A lot of it's internal stuff, you know, it's not the manufacturing, because so much of that is out in the open. And I really think they think they're just so far ahead, which I agree, that it doesn't even matter if someone copies their homework, they're years behind. So SpaceX really doesn't care about intellectual property, especially Elon specifically does not care about the intellectual property aspect at all. And then ITAR, they're way more laxed on, again, because they're open and they're in the public and they're driving engines down the road. There's already this precedent set that, hey, the public's already seen all this stuff. So, you know, whatever. Like, it's funny. They almost went with this approach that, like, because it's so open and so public, nothing matters really anymore. So, yeah. But Firefly, on the other hand, is, you know, more traditional in that sense that they, especially for them, think about it. They're a young company at the start of things, and they've invested a lot of their capital into things like carbon composites and how they manufacture carbon composites, some tricks they had to do to make they built the largest carbon composite rocket ever. It's like 4 times bigger by volume than Electron. It's huge. It's massive. At least 4 times. It's probably like 10 times bigger than Electron volume-wise. It is very, very, very big. And they had to develop a lot of proprietary stuff to make it that big and to do all these things. I think things that SpaceX was having troubles with when they were thinking about making Starship out of carbon composites. They have they've solved a lot of those things, a lot of those issues. And those are things that they want to protect really closely. They don't want anyone else, say competitors like like Rocket Lab, seeing their hardware up close and how they do some of this stuff, some of the machines they're using. That's what they're most worried about protecting, I think, is their R&D time and development. You don't want other companies peeking at the stuff that took you years to develop and millions of dollars. And then they only had like 2 ITAR concerns. Like literally, I think the rest were all just intellectual properties, and they didn't want people, which I totally understand. I think that's, I get it. They're young, and I think that's normal for most companies. I don't think that SpaceX is just the unusual. Wait, do we have any, well, Austin, don't forget the Dear Moon presentation. Elon was showing the giant 9-meter wide carbon mandrels. They literally had purchased carbon mandrels to make the biggest carbon composite starship, or carbon composite vehicle ever, period. What's this about methane neutron? Where'd you hear that from? I haven't heard anything about neutron, and it's bumming me out. I want more neutron. I gotta hear about this. I need a source. Let me see it. Let's see. The amber orange acrylic stuff that was commonly found in the wreckage of SN 8 and 9. I don't think I know anything about that, honestly. Hang on. Alex has as director of neutron propulsion, you'll be responsible for development of a liquid rocket engine, locks liquid natural gas from a clean sheet. No way. Huh. That's crazy. Thank you, Alex, for posting that. And that's okay. I'm excited. I mean, he told me back in, when was that? Like April or May or whenever that was. Whenever that last interview was, that I still hold hope. I almost want to find this and make you guys, actually, I realized, I don't know if, hang on, what happens if I play music in here? I don't want to get the stream borked, so let me play my own music so we don't have that problem. Hang on. I gotta see if I fixed my, this is gonna be important before we do the other stream. Where is that? Come on. Hello? It's called stream. This is a great live stream right now. Just me going hello. Is this gonna be like, oh, it's not even working at all there. Okay, let me try this. Make sure it's on that multi-output device. Is that echoey for you guys? Oh, yep. Crap. Okay, I'm gonna have to. That means I'm gonna have to go here soon and just try to figure out why that's happening. Ugh, I hate that. It's like double sound for some reason. But yeah, I hope that well, why was I saying that? Oh yeah, I wanted to show you a clip of Peter Beck. He was last time I interviewed him, he's like, I was trying to get him to talk about the engine. I'm like, it looks like you only have 4 engines, or how are you gonna do like landing and thrust differential? And he's like, we have a really good solution. You're really going to like it. You're really going to like it. And he said it like that, like personally. So I'm not saying it's an aerospike, but what if they did kind of like what the original Firefly was, where instead of like, let's say they just have 8 engines around a core, and instead of a center engine, you just have a plug. That way you can have a really short throw expansion ratio, short throw nozzle, and have a big expansion ratio. I don't know, Ryan. I who knows? What if? Okay. Yeah, the render is nothing like the actual Neutron rocket. That's true. Yeah, once you guys actually hear, because Tom Rikusik was working on an aerospike for a long time, and what I did not realize about the original Alpha is it was pressure fed. And the only way he could make a pressure-fed booster work was an aerospike, which is interesting. He talks about that, and it's actually really, really, really cool. That's awesome. I did hear that the Neutron is supposedly going to be nearly 100% reusable now. Yeah. So there you go. Guys, I'm actually probably going to close out here so I can eat lunch and try to fix the audio problem before we do Kerbal, because if I don't fix the audio problem, that's going to suck. So I need a little bit about that. Is there any info on a full Neutron release video? I don't know. Yeah, it is a little bit of a light medium lifter, isn't it? But yeah. Okay, guys, I'm going to wrap up. I think, yeah, I scheduled the other one for in 40 minutes. So I got to get lunch and try to fix the audio here. Yeah. And then fix a bike later today. Yeah, that'll be fun. So let me know if you guys have any other good questions that we can bring up in the other stream, because and think about what you want me to do in Kerbal, because I want to do something, a fun challenge, not Starship, no Starship challenge. Yeah. All right, that's going to do it. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me, and thank you again for your ongoing support and understanding too with you know, how little output there's been lately. It's been a struggle to not totally get completely overwhelmed and totally burn out on things, but I'm really excited about what I'm working on now, and that's what I think is most important. So, yeah, get ready. The interview is really cool. The video is going to be awesome, actually. I think you guys will really, really like it. It's fascinating. And then wish me all of the best luck in the world finishing the Soviet rocket video. All right, love you guys. Thank you so much again, and we'll see you in 40 minutes. All right, bye, guys.